Hello, rockers and Mercuryans. Rock Mercury here, and we have our first topic of today's episode of the Rock Mercury Show. Today's first topic is about the podcast or interview heard around the world, the Katt Williams interview on Club Shay Shay. Shout out to Club Shay Shay. Right now, that interview is sitting at 52 million views on YouTube, which is just astronomical, absolutely astronomical. It's competing right now to become one of the biggest or the biggest podcast of all time, and it deserves to be that. It absolutely deserves to be that. So I'm proud of Club Shay Shay. I've been watching them before this happened. A lot of people just found out that he existed. Anyway, but I want to get right into this topic because he interviewed the one and only iconic Katt Williams, who is very elusive. You know, he doesn't really do that many interviews, as he explained in the beginning of this of the actual podcast, and he's been getting a lot of flack for it, for speaking the truth out there. Now, Katt Williams is not from LA, but he lived in LA, over in Western and Manchester, which is really right where I grew up. And I'm in Houston now, but Los Angeles is like, that's literally the streets where, I mean, I don't want to say who lives there because our family's over there still, but we have a lot of family in literally that area, and so I just really resonated with his story of how, you know, the snakes in Hollywood come out to bite and all the shadiness. So he discussed people from Steve Harvey to Cedric the Entertainer. If he's even I don't think he's entertaining, but Cedric the Entertainer, and you know, Kevin Hart, or I like to call him Kevin Fart, because he stinks. He doesn't really have any good jokes. He's not a very talented comedian, in my opinion, in any kind of way. So he discusses him, but what I'm going to discuss, because we're talking about music here, is what he had to say about Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, who is a musician. She is a musician. DJ, it's my jam. DJ, it's my, you know, come on. It's a song. But then we're going to discuss Ludacris, what he had to say about Ludacris, too. But yeah, if you want to watch the full interview on him, I definitely suggest you go check out Club Shay Shay. But we only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to dive into this real quick. First of all, he was asked by on the podcast. He was asked what he felt about Kanye's situation. First thing he said was, we can't claim somebody has mental challenges or is mentally ill, and then watch them and laugh. It reflects more of, on us as a people when we to say that he's struggling. He even says himself that he has been struggling at times, and then we're over here just judging each thing he's doing, and, you know, putting a microscope to his life, letting him say he's a genius, and believing it somehow, and like kind of watching and enjoying the downfall of him. He also said that there's no better way to show that he's struggling than, you know, the fact that he married Kim Kardashian, who he claims to be a WHO to the R to the E, you know, like a lady of the night, He called her, but he used that word. I can't say that word on here, that's why I spelled it. But he said that she's for the streets, and that even Pete Davidson thought she wasn't good enough for him. Now, I thought that was, I chuckled for sure, like I'm chuckling now. But as somebody who's worked with Kim Kardashian personally, I think she is a beautiful person. I think she is a very kind person. She's more than that tape that she's famous for. You know, we all have things in our past. I definitely have things in my past that I would love to have erased or be gone. But that's not the case, not how it works out. But it was kind of funny to see her deduce to that. But I understand where he was coming from out of way. I don't even think that he was like really dissing her that much, because like she did stuff for money. Like that tape has been known to have been something she gets paid for and got paid for. You know, it's in documents. You can't have a tape like that just out there unless you signed off on it. You can't make money off of that kind of tape that she's famous for, or the original tape. But I know a lot of people, like, they see an artist like Kanye, who is, you know, musically very gifted. I mean, although some people may say that he has taken a lot from other artists and not paid them properly, which I've, you know, seen from people in Hollywood that I've worked with that have had the same story over and over again after working with him and feeling like he's taken advantage of their art. Some people call him the sample king, that Kanye's always just taking samples and making new songs out of it. Me personally, I was a big fan of Kanye before. Nowadays, I'm just kind of feeling like it's just a little off. Like, everything's off, and I'm kind of over the antics, to be honest, at this point. And so what he said about him, kind of goes for multiple people, not just Kanye. It goes for a lot of different artists who, um, who are mentally not all the way there. You know, when we look at somebody like Van Gogh, who, you know, in an artistic passion, you know, cut his own ear off for love and does really outrageous things. Like, we can't really look at that as a sane person and judge his actions as a sane person. So I get what he's saying on that. I thought it was hilarious in a way. But I do think we need to take a break from Kanye and just like let him be the whatever zone he's in, but we can't judge him on that zone. Apparently now Kanye has some 40-minute tape that he's recorded for the Jewish community that I'm interested to see what that's going to be. I don't even know if I want to watch it, to be honest. I don't. I'm actually just tired. I'm like, be quiet, Kanye. Like, you said what you said. You double down on it. Like, let's keep moving. But that all goes back to, why did we care what he said the first time? Why did he get canceled for those words the first time? How are the same media outlets that have said that Kanye is mentally not well, how are they judging him based on people who they claim to be mentally well? It's all a mess. It's all just a kind of like a really hectic disaster when it comes to that. And so I agree with what he said, to be honest, with what Katt Williams said on that. Before we get off, I only have a few more minutes left on this topic. He also, Katt Williams also discussed Ludacris. He said that there was an Illuminati event, which I completely believe in and have had experience with the Illuminati. He said that there was an event or like a situation where it was between him and Ludacris, and one of them had to cut their hair, um, and they would get like these multi-million movie deals and have to marry this certain type of woman. You know, that he I can't say on here because it's too offensive, but he had to and he said that was Ludacris. Ludacris since responded with a freestyle rap that was really whack, to be honest. I know Ludacris's work, and he's really a great rapper usually, but it wasn't that good of a rap. And Katt Williams responded with a freestyle back to him, calling him out even more, saying that he was bi, you know, and also saying that he was, you know, down with he was getting with Quincy Jones or Clyde. What did somebody, some rich person he was getting with? Um, he was claiming that that's who Ludacris was, his sugar daddy or whatever. And I'm like, dang it, I'm so tired of seeing fellow black male artists, you know, having to be deduced to these sugar daddies and stuff that, in order for their career to be boosted or to be relevant in any way. And have I been offered these deals? Yes, I've been offered multiple of these deals. Have I turned them down? Absolutely, I've turned them down. I've thought about them for sure at some point, but I was like, you know what, this isn't for me. It's, you know, it's hard. It's a tough thing to sell your soul. And Cat Williams puts it best in his interview. He says that the number one job when you join the Illuminati is to keep acting like it never happened. That's the number one thing you got to do. These celebrities do. They have to act like it never happened. That's like the first thing, the number one thing. And I've seen that. I've seen it over and over again. There's like a cloud over a lot of these stars' eyes. I've worked with some of the biggest celebrities in the industry, and that is something you see consistently. Like, there's just some jadedness to the industry because of what they've seen, what they've had to do, the soul they've had to sell, what they're probably on, what kind of substances they're on to even cope with what they're going through. Like, there's so many pieces to that puzzle. And so I look at it all. I'm like, dang, I appreciate that Cat Williams spoke his truth on it, and that he found a way to self fund himself and turn down all this money. He also spoke on P Diddy, but we're gonna get into P Diddy in another the next topic. So we're gonna discuss him later. But he did say that he had to protect his good old his good old virgin hole, as he calls it. Even from Diddy, because he said Diddy likes to party, you know, and we're seeing all the allegations with that happening. So he also said something that was kind of not in the music world, but he said that Harvey Weinstein offered to, you know, give him some stoppy toppy, right in front of all of his team and his agency, and nobody cared at the time. They just called him crazy and said, "No, what are you talking about? Like, why would Harvey do that? Da, da, da. He's a big star and he's a big, powerful Hollywood man. Why would he do that?" They just discredited him, and so I'd love to see that Cat Williams is finally getting his due respect, calling out people, whether it's Kanye for being, you know, mentally in the state he's in, or Kim for being a H to the Izzo, you know, or like, you know, Ludacris for being an Illuminati puppet. I really resonate with the way he exposed the truth, and I don't. I believe him. Let's just say I believe every word he said, and every word he didn't say. I believe that too. So I'll just end that on that. We're out of time for this topic, but definitely check out that interview for Cat Williams on Club Shay Shay.